Be seated once more, my friends. Let me regale you with the next chapter of the tale of the children of the Crescent Moon, a chapter brimming with riddles, peril, and the faint glimmers of destiny. The tale begins where we last left our heroes, standing on the precipice of a mystery, their contact now revealed, their path further entwined with the threads of fate. When we last spoke, our heroes had earned the trust of Tyenmo, a merchant of Sayab Sanko. Grateful for their aid in resolving the feud in the night market, Lemai invited the party to her quiet estate on the town's outskirts. After an hour's journey, our heroes had found themselves in her warm, rustic manor on the outskirts of Sayab Sanko. Picture, if you will, a warm and inviting wooden manor nestled in a blooming garden, where climbing roses swayed gently in the evening breeze. Inside, they were greeted by a cozy sitting room adorned with family heirlooms and stories woven into tapestries. Over steaming bowls of fragrant noodle soup, Lemai shared her family secret, a riddle handed down from her ancestor, Fendrick Tyenmo, who had vanished for centuries before returning with treasures and mysteries. The riddle read as follows: In the chill of the northern whispers, where Link's river softly flows, seek the hush of the slumbering pond in dreams where stillness grows. The riddle spoke of the slumbering pond hidden near the Link's river and held the promise of answers. Tyenmo, one of the aides provided by the Council of the Radiant Citadel to act as the party's guide, recognized the river's name, and Lemai urged them onward, advising they consult the Arun family for a map. However, Lemai entrusted them not only with the riddle, but also with a mysterious obsidian medallion, marked with ancient ruins and a gemstone that seemed to drink in all the light. The Arun Manor was a place of elegance and heritage, its stone walls adorned with carvings of mythical tales and maps. There, the party secured a copy of a detailed map of the region and began their journey northward the following dawn, the path winding through golden fields and lush forests with the shimmering Link's River ever near. At midday, their journey was interrupted by danger. 4 kobolds and a ravenous giant frog attempted to launch an ambush. However, the rogue managed to strike first, their arrow nearly felling one of the kobolds before it could close the distance. 2 others started to wade through the river, weapons ready, while the 4th fired from cover on the other side of the river. The frog, slow but menacing, lumbered towards the party, its massive jaws ready to snap. The druid bore the brunt of the kobold's attacks, but with quick reflexes and the party's support they managed to hold their ground. Meanwhile, the ranger and the fighter dispatched the advancing kobolds with swift blows, while Tenel and Ali, who happens to be another one of the guides provided by the Radiant Citadel, focused their attacks on the frog, bringing it down before it could strike. The party emerged victorious and their bonds were strengthened by battle. With renewed vigilance, they now made their way on the rest of their journey. As twilight descended, the party reached the slumbering pond, its glassy surface reflecting the fading light, and the air carried a hushed stillness. They set up camp aware that the riddle spoke of the pond and the dreams that linger in its stillness. It was around midnight when the pond came alive under the glow of the full moon. Shadows deepened and the water shimmered with an otherworldly ethereal blue light. From the surface rose a spectral figure, an ancient gnome clad in ethereal robes, the translucent form whispering a riddle that hung in the air like a song carried on the wind. Toward the edge of Averon's heights where ancient shadows sigh, beneath the Ling's embrace, let evening's feast draw nigh. In the cradle of the mountain shade where echoes of solace blend, let the heart find solace there as time and hunger mend. Seek the shadow deep and wide, a whisper in the twilight tide, where light dares not roam or tread, in depths where silent secrets spread. Darker than the night's embrace, it holds the weight of hidden space. In corners where daylight fails, therein lies the truth that silence hails. The figure vanished as swiftly as it appeared, leaving the party to decipher its meaning. They chose to rest on it, and the following dawn they determined their next destination, a location nestled between the Averon Mountains and the Ling Forest. With their destination determined, their journey led them deeper into Sayab Sanko's wilderness, where forest paths turned into rocky trails. By twilight, they found themselves before a crevice in the cliffs, where a deep, unnatural shadow was hiding an entrance leading into a cavern. They had realized the shadow was the next portion of the riddle, as it was forming while twilight began to take over the sky. It was at this time that they had discovered the cavern previously mentioned. Inside, the air was growing heavy with heat, and becoming brighter with the glow of molten lava that lit their path. A rickety wooden bridge was discovered, spanning a fiery chasm, its planks groaning under the strain of age. The rogue, ever bold, dashed across first, securing a rope for the others to use, and one by one, the party managed to cross the bridge without any incident, although the heat was rising like a dragon's breath until they managed to reach a grand stone door. Its surface was covered in moss and other lichens, which once cleared revealed ancient carvings and a circular slot located near the center of the door. The party realized that the medallion was perfectly sized to fit within the locking mechanism and might be the key to unlocking the doors. It took them a few moments to properly align the medallion, but once aligned, the runes glowed blue and the doors opened with a resounding groan, revealing an ancient crypt, later revealed to be the Crypt of Whispers. The Crypt of Whispers was vast. Its columns were carved with depictions of forgotten peoples and their battles. It also had a high vaulted ceiling that the columns supported, providing a vast feel to the space. An odd glowing brazier stood at its heart at the far end of the room, in front of some tall shadowy form. Within the odd brazier were fragments of parchment that appeared to hover and always seemed to be moving around. They were protected by an ever-flowing barrier that would crush any hand if someone were brave enough to try to slip one through the revolving segments. But the crypt was not unguarded. As the party began moving towards the brazier, 6 skeletal warriors rose from the shadows, their weapons glinting in an eerie light. The battle that ensued was fierce. The druid, once again targeted first, took the worst of the assault, falling early in battle. The ranger, artificer, and fighter learned that they might have better luck crushing bone with bludgeoning weapons, and the rogues struck with precision from the shadows. Tannel and Ellie assisted where they could, but they were not as well equipped to handle the situation they had hoped. Skeletons, mindless and without remorse, continued their assault on the druid, but the party managed to rally together, removing the immediate threat to their colleague's life, managing to stabilize their wounds before the skeletons could land the final blow. Slowly, the skeletons fell, and the tide turned in the favor of the party, until the crypt grew silent once more. With the battle over, the cleric called upon their divine power to heal the wounds the party had suffered, and restore their friend's state of consciousness. While the rest approached the brazier, upon closer inspection, they noticed that the shadowy figure behind the brazier was a grand statue. The statue was a masterwork of stone, depicting a stoic female elven warrior clad in regal armor. Every detail of the figure spoke of vigilance and strength. The elf's expression was serene yet commanding, their hands resting on the pommel of a downward turned sword. The blade's tip rested on the ground, and the hilt bore an intricate design. Upon examining the statue more closely, they found that there was a slot hidden at the base of the sword's hilt. The obsidian medallion once again fit perfectly. As the runes on the medallion aligned with the carvings, the faint blue glow pulsed through the statue. Shortly after, the brazier's barrier dissipated with a hum, granting access to the floating parchment fragments. As the party reached into the brazier to grab at the fragments, the lid of a nearby sarcophagus flew off. The party turned to find that a zombie guardian was clawing its way out of the sarcophagus, its decayed form looming and readying itself to attack. However, as it stepped forward, the magic that bound it to its duty unraveled, and the creature crumbled to dust before it could do anything. With the dead once again at peace, the party managed to take some time to take a look at the pieces of parchment that they had recovered from the brazier. They found that they had held distinct sentences, which were as follows. In the shadows of the forgotten eons beneath the prismatic moons was on the first fragment, while the next started with suffused with thee, before breaking off and continuing with across boundless expanses they will navigate celestial currents. The third piece had fray of the Crescent Moon against and felt disjointed, while the last segment read where visions flicker like fragile flames in, once again not sounding complete. Slowly it dawned on the party that they had found the segments of the prophecy, and they took a closer look at the scroll that they carried with them. They discovered that the same segments were now visible with a soft orange glow, and realized that they had much more to do before they could really fully understand the whole prophecy. Finally, as the last light of the brazier dimmed, the druid heard a word whispered from the statue nearby. Murkmire. This single word, heavy with meaning, left the party with more questions than answers. In addition to the prophecy fragments, they discovered treasures, coins, gems, scrolls, a lantern, and an ornate obsidian key. With their task complete, the party began their return to the Radiant Citadel. However, the party felt a duty to return to those who had helped them first, and arrived at the Arun family manor to find it empty. Even after the rogue succeeded in picking a most difficult lock and giving them a place to rest before the Ruby Concord Jewel would return. Rested and healed of all of their injuries, they returned to the inn within the Radiant Citadel and sent word to Shoal of their success. And so, my friends, the children of the Crescent Moon have uncovered another fragment of their destiny. The crypt's treasures and whispered secrets pointed at greater challenges ahead, with the word Murkmire looming like a shadow on the horizon. Thus ends this chapter of the Curse of Fate, but the story is far from over. Stay with me, my friends, and I shall reveal the next chapter in due time.